this is an overview of what we're up against at this point in time. Now, traditionally, hunters don't match up that well against warrior builds, and I have 5 opponents running 3 warriors at this stage. G'day, Josh here with another Chess Rush video, and in this one we're going to be looking at a build that might be a little bit overlooked in the current meta, but I think it can do pretty good things in the right situations. So we start off, of course, with a Hog Rider, a Famine, and a Misfortune. That's what I found in the shop. Miss Supersonic, I should say, not a Misfortune. That would be incredibly lucky to get a Misfortune at round 1. And this is kind of going to direct the direction of this build a little bit, actually. Normally, the first few rounds has no impact whatsoever. You just get whatever you get. But in this specific case, I do end up going with Hunters. And it does pretty well against a pretty wide variety of opponents. The benefit, I guess, is that the majority of Hunters aren't too contested. You do have to keep eye. Everyone wants Kraken, and everyone will grab Shakaraka because it's a very strong legendary at that point in the game. Famine is also just an individually strong hero, and she is used in some undead builds. And Hog Rider is also a goblin, so there are definitely some hunters that are contested for other builds, but there's other hunters that you'll basically have no competition for whatsoever, which means you can easily level them up. And you can see that we're already round 2 and I have 3 hunters off the bat already. But let's go ahead and jump into our first PvP round here. You can see that I'm rocking one of the throwback boards from way back when Chess Rush first started. But I'm pretty sure that this board has been revamped in that all of these particle effects, I don't remember being a part of this board when it first came out. So let me know if I'm getting that slightly wrong, but I've had this board for quite some time and I do not remember the awesome smoke and sparks and things floating throughout the screens. That's pretty nice. Alright, so what have I got at this stage? Collecting lots of hunters. How do we go in this first PvP round? Matched up against a 2-star Joan of Arc off the bat. That's always concerning just because of how strong she is as a 1-cost hero. And if she's a 2-star or a level 2 already, really hard to combat all of those soldiers that she's able to pump out. And you can see here that we do make it close, but we just can't overcome those soldiers, and we do end up going down. Jumping into round 4, and let's have a look at what this shot looks like. Another Famine, which is awesome, but nothing else that's too exciting at this point in time. And let's go straight into these battles. We'll skip through the first part of this game pretty quickly, getting to the mid-game and the end game, and seeing the sort of builds that I was running up against and just how this was matching up against them. But you can see that the only combo I still have active at this point is 3 hunters, and I do actually get myself a very close win there, but that was probably off the back of Venom more than anything else. He's also a very strong individual hero. His ability, the way that his Venom can actually jump from hero to hero. If the hero that is currently being affected by it, or the poison, is it called poison or Venom in his ability? It is called Venom. But yeah, if the hero being affected by the Venom dies, that Venom can jump to a nearby enemy. Now, very interesting build at this stage. Look at that. 2 Venoms, 2 Wujings, 2 Famines, and a Hog Rider. And no 2-stars as of yet. I actually did struggle a little bit getting 2-stars in this game, but it didn't make too much of an impact overall. So once again, PvP round. This one actually is against another opponent that doesn't have any 2-stars at this stage, which means that we're probably going to be favoured. And that is exactly the case. We win that with 5 heroes still alive, which is pretty dominant given that we're only level 7. So let's go round 6. We've got the Bears. Nothing that exciting in that shop either. I am playing for levels. It's a bit of a risk. When you don't have any early 2-stars, often you actually want to spin and search for a few. But because I was still doing pretty well, I was still winning rounds, I was playing a slightly riskier approach because it was around this time where I was thinking, hey, maybe I give Hunters a crack. It's been a while since I've run Hunters. It'd be really interesting. Oh, Gundala. That's an Indonesian player repping the Gundala hero that just visited the board there. So I thought, why not give Hunters a crack? I mean, they're not really that prevalent in the current meta, and they're not going to be too contested. maybe I do a hunter build and see how I go. And so, big part of that hunter build is getting the 2 Oceanborn hunters, Kraken and Shakaraka. So I wanted to beat everyone else to those heroes. So I wanted to level up fairly aggressively. And I was able to do that because I was still winning my PvP matches, which is fantastic, even though I don't have 2 stars just yet. And I wasn't getting sort of a bit of a dry patch in the few shop rounds that we're going through here. And look at such an interesting board. 2 of every hero at this point, but no 2 stars. Anyway, let's go straight through to the next PvP. From memory, this one is a loss. I just don't have any magic resistance, and there's lots of 2 stars, and Frost Lotus does a chunk of damage. That 2-star Nightingale is wreaking havoc, and I do end up going down. So we're now down to 49 HP, still pretty comfortable. But this is the spot where it can get a little bit awkward. I do actually manage, there were 3 Templar Knights in that shop, which is why I've gone from having no Templar Knights to having a 2-star Templar Knight. So I actually put him on the board just to have a 2-star hero out, even though I wouldn't normally run Templar Knight. And I ended up using him for a while, and look at how close this one is. Almost got the win, but just not quite able to clutch it out. So round 9. Now, I found Kraken, and I got, once again, incredibly lucky. I've got a Shark. Just like that, I found Shakaraka. Now, I'm not running any featured heroes, which means I don't have access to Forest Breath. So if I click on Hunters here, so that means, or Cerberus. So the only other hunter I can use is Stalker Drone. So I am in a point at this, or at a stage in this game where I need to find Stalker Drone to complete my 6 hunter build. And then pair it up with some other good secondary combos. Obviously, Undead is one of those in a hunter build. 2 Goblins is really nice for the additional attack speed as well. But I'm just running the best pieces I can find in the meantime. So, for instance, the Night Owl, strong 3-cost hero and was giving me Beast. But now that I've found another Goblin, I get rid of Venom. I get rid of Night Owl soon as well. And things are starting to look a little bit better. Basically, it seems like if we look at the combos at the top left, I'm just playing any combo that's either green or blue. That seems to be the approach. Alright, so we're obviously going to win this round. Let's jump straight into the next PvP round. And this is against an opponent that's got a ton of 2 stars and a 3-star Ice Tusk. And that's a little bit scary. Round 11, already facing 3 stars. It does happen in Turbo. But even though we haven't got our 6 hunters online, you can see that the effect of having Shark and Kraken at this stage, and we do end up overcoming that opponent. And we do now also have a 2-star Famine on the board, which is great as well. This is an overview of what we're up against at this point in time. Now, traditionally, hunters don't match up that well against warrior builds, and I have 5 opponents running 3 warriors at this stage. But often warrior is an early to mid-game combo that people transition out of. So I wasn't too worried about that. It didn't look like anyone was committing to 6 warriors, and I do have 2 undead now because I have found my Misfortune, which would have been nice to have round 1, but obviously not possible. And at this point in time, I got that Void Doom out there as well. Now the end game plan is to actually have Voodoo Elder instead of Berserker, and then that gives me a Goblin and a Warlock in 1, which means I can have another position on the board to add another combo or another strong individual hero. And still looking pretty good. And you can see what the combo's at now. 5 Hunters, 2 Warlock, 2 Rider, 2 Goblin, 2 Undead, 2 Oceanborn. The 2 Druids sitting on my bench are obviously not doing anything. So it's not even 6 Hunters yet, and I'm still looking very, very comfortable. Still above 50% HP, so I'm at 34 health at this stage, and people are starting to get their builds online. So we've got a 4 Beast build up top that we did beat earlier. We've got that 4 Goblin build in 2nd position. There's also a 4 Punisher build that's online now in 4th position. So there's a wide variety of builds in this particular match. No sorcerers. But we actually match up very well against sorcerers because of our Oceanborn, our magic resistance, and hunters just generally do quite well against sorcerers as well. So if there was a sorcerer build, I wouldn't be too worried with this hunter build. Now this is a tough one. Look at the amount of strength on the other side of that board, and including a 3-star Hog Rider. This is the 4 Goblin build, I believe. And at this point in time, we actually do fairly well. Is that the 4 Goblin build? Let me just check that. No, it's not. It's a build down the bottom that doesn't actually have a lot going for it. So that's why we were fairly comfortably able to win that one. Let's jump into round 14. We're getting close to having our first eliminations. I've also now found a 2-star Wujing, obviously the 2-star Hog Rider. But still, lots of heroes that are 1-star at this point in time. If you look at my value, it's doing okay against some, but there's definitely a few towards the bottom that are starting to ramp up pretty aggressively, including a player that's got 4 3-stars. Wow, that's pretty strong. Oh, and look at that. We just found Stalker Drone, round 14. The full build is now online. So it's 6 Hunter, 2 Warlock, 2 Goblin, 2 Undead, 2 Oceanborn. The 2 Rider is just incidental. So you don't actually need Templar Knight, which means that this build actually comes online at level 8. You only need 8 heroes to run this because of the versatility of some of the hunters. So it does give you 2 extra flex spots essentially if you do get to level 10. For now, I'm obviously using that Templar Knight because he's a 2-star hero. So he's my best option to fill up the 1 empty spot that I currently have. And once again, I'm doing pretty well. I'm on a 4 win streak at this point in time, which is great. Round 16, we're going to skip the 15 creeps because that's not that important. So no significant changes to my particular build. Once again, not having crazy luck in the shop at this point in time, but I have got a couple of gurus on the bench there that you might have noticed as well. They come in pretty handy pretty soon and get me one of the best 3-star heroes in the game, which is that Kraken. She's so strong as a 3-star hero. Her ability at 3-star is really OP as well. It's 100% chance of stunning all enemies and taking 1,000 magic damage, and it's a 3-second stun, which is incredible. And it's also, from memory, yeah, they also receive an additional 30% physical damage while they're stunned. So having 100% chance to stun the entire board, because you just chuck her in the middle of the board so she hits everything at 3-star, is so good. Now this one was a little bit closer, but once again, we're sitting pretty. So we've top 4 at the moment. We're down to 7. We've had our first elimination. Let's just have another look at how some of the other builds are coming up. So, still 5 opponents running 3 warriors, funnily enough. The top 2 players, 4 beasts, 4 goblin. There's also that 4 Punisher build. Now, obviously, Punishers are incredibly strong in the current meta. Beasts with Marsh Lord, which is interesting that the number 1 player is not using Marsh Lord, because Beasts with Marsh Lord obviously is very strong in the meta. But Punishers are my go-to. Which is why it's fun to get out of the Punisher mold and try something new, such as 6 Hunter, which is always fun to try, but has never really had a strong holding in any of the season's metas, to be totally honest. Sometimes it's good for a little bit, but then a balance patch hits and kind of nerfs it again, or other things just get made stronger, which kind of make it redundant. Now you can see that I'm not doing that well against what I believe is the Punisher build. Actually, no, I think that might be the 4 Goblin build.
Player defeated.
I think the 4 Goblin build.
Player defeated.
Actually, maybe not, because it had Lucifer as well. I'm not entirely sure what, but it must have been the 4 Punisher build. No, it definitely wasn't, because of the goblins that he had. I don't actually know what build that was I just faced. Was it someone that just died? It was. It was a player that finished in 7th. That's what it was. So now, 2-star Stalker Drone, 2-star Kraken, 2-star Voodoo Elder. Starting to get my 2-stars on the board, which is fantastic. Round 18 now. Pretty much everyone else has at least 1 3-star at this stage. But we've got 3 Gurus on the board now, which means we're pretty close to being able to get that Kraken. And that Shark, that stun is so good. And we managed to, well, I wouldn't say comfortably, but fairly easily win that one. And we take out the player in 5th position. So now we're at the comfortable point where we are guaranteed positive rank points. And 3-star on that board, 3-star on that board. No 3-star here just yet on the on that Goblin build. And what do we have happening? We have another Misfortune. I'm spinning through the shop here. And we managed to 2-star a Misfortune there as well, which is fantastic. Even more strength on the board. And so this is what's really interesting. The builds that we're left up against are all pretty strong meta builds. And this Hunter build shreds through all of them. we end up getting, like, look at how comfortable that was. That was incredibly comfortable. So we've got the creeps at 20. Let's go to round 21. It's a pretty long turbo game. Round 21, we still got 4 players alive. That's pretty significant. You can see another look at the overview there. Thankfully, at this stage, we've got a little bit of a health lead against the 3rd and 4th players. And this is another reason why this Hunter build is nice. As I talked about, you got that flex spot. So I've got a legendary Executioner in there as one of my utility heroes. And there's a 3-star Kraken that you see. So you also got a decent number of 4 and 5 cost heroes. So it's a pretty expensive build. We get ourselves another Goblin in there in that Berserker as well. We've still got another Guru on the bench. So things are looking really good. Obviously, we want to use that Guru with a legendary, the 2-star Shakaraka, ideally, because he's a Hunter that fits so well into this build. And because of his utility, his stun, area of effect stun, is probably one of the best legendaries in the game at the moment. And just like that, we move up into number 1 position. That 3-star Kraken is so big at this point. I believe I start doing some readjusting of my board shortly as well and end up moving Kraken right in at the front. So she's firing off her ability as quickly as possible. We're just picking up other pieces that I might be using at this stage. So I think I'm just basically searching for legendaries and more Berserkers. And how much time do I have of prep? Not enough. It must be next round that I end up repositioning. Oh no, I did just get Kraken moved in time. There we go. So she fires off her. Look at that ink. That ink covers the entire board. All enemies are stunned for 3 seconds, and they're taking extra damage through that time. A 3-star Kraken is so OP. And once again, an incredibly quick win. How are we doing on this board? Very, very comfortably. We're sitting on a pretty significant health lead at this stage. Let's go back to our board. We are looking, of course, to 2-star one of the legendaries, which I could now do with the Executioner, but I've also just found a Shakaraka. So given the opponent's HP, I'm pretty sure this is going to be the final round. So I sell the Berserker off, 2-star the Shakaraka there, and let's jump straight into this PvP round. Up against the Gundala player from Indonesia. And look at the stuns coming out of our Oceanborn Hunters. Our opponent had no chance. We melted his Punishers. And against the Goblin build, it got shut down hard. And this opponent did actually survive. The Punisher build outmatched the Goblin build, but he's still going to face us, and we just smashed him, and we just managed to 2-star our Berserker as well. I don't think we find another upgrade here, but we do very, very well in the end with this 6 Hunter. It ends up being a 3 Goblin, 2 Warlock, 2 Undead, 2 Oceanborn, and a Demon, but that's just because I'm using Berserker and the Executioner comfortable in there. You can use whatever you want. We'll just go in and have a look at the final results there. Those last 2 flex positions, you can use whatever you want, which is why this build is so nice. You don't have to get to level 10 to make it work, but that does help in finding the 4 and 5 cost heroes as well. And because of that, look at our value in the end, which is another big reason we were able to dominate that so much. But there you go. If you're looking for an off-meta build that can match up very, very well, and it will have some pieces that are not as contested as other popular builds at the moment, definitely check out 6 Hunters. It's a lot of fun if you can pull it off, that is for sure. So thank you so much for checking out this video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Hit that sub button if you haven't already. And until next time, I'll see you later.